Well, folks, it is already halfway through the NFL season, and we are here to talk about it on the Terranadome. I had to call Josh Morris back onto the show this week. I am sure he is thrilled about doing this twice in a row, and we are ready to go. We'll be talking about Week Nine's action. We'll preview a little bit of Week 10 as well as we normally do, and I get a feeling we might even spend a couple minutes on the World Series as well. It's all coming up and more on this week's Terranadome, and it starts right now. The first interception led to a field goal, and the second one led to a touchdown. You lost by 3. That's why you don't turn the ball over. We see it every week from multiple teams. It happens all the time, Patriots. Yeah, Pats +8, Pats money line. Book it, baby.
Stop it. No.
Buffalo's going down.
No.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Respect the flying Elvis. Buffalo's going down. Denver money line. I like Denver money line too. I like Denver money line too. I think this is the week for Philly. Denver is better than that 2-2 record for sure. It is. That's gonna be a low-scoring game over there in Philly. I think I'm gonna hammer the under on that game too.
Known as fair and square throughout my years, so I growl at the living foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. Terranadome, and it starts right now. And welcome back into the show, folks. Of course, my name is Scott Terrana. It's the Terranadome coming to you on a Thursday, November 6th from lovely New England, where it's quite blustery, and you can tell that winter is not far off. Joining me this week for the second week in a row on the show, oddly enough, I can't even keep my own word on this, folks. It's Josh Morris. He's back on the show. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Yeah, well, your camera's frozen there, buddy, but yeah, I did hear you. All right, now you're good. Okay, that's fine. No, it's fine. We don't have to redo it. So Josh is back. I didn't say anything about giving you 2 weeks off though. So, after this, but it's up to you. It's voluntary. I appreciate it. I feel like I owe you one at this point, but I was at the game. I was at the Patriots game last Sunday, which proved to be a nail-biting experience. Of course, right? Because I'm in attendance, right? But nevertheless, that also means that all I could do was scoreboard watch from the seat, and I couldn't do a ton of watching. So this is gonna be a little bit of a streamlined episode. I'm gonna need some of your help on this one. So if you don't mind, sir, we're gonna roll into it. I did see a little bit of Thursday night football. Thursday night, we're going back a week now to Thursday night football, folks. We'll get right into it. Week 9 analysis on the Terranadome. Not much to analyze here, guys. The Baltimore Ravens. Where are my notes on the Patriots? Oh, uh-oh. Well, I have this anyway, so we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens at the Miami Dolphins. Okay, now I've got the right version. Hey, Baltimore. Oh, no, wait. Why am I starting there? It's a New England-based show. Of course, we're going to start with the Patriots. I was in attendance. Let's see. I all over the place today. It hasn't been a great day, to be honest with you, folks. That's okay. We're having fun on the show. So, to bury the header, the Patriots just squeaked this one out. I mean, by the skin of their teeth. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 24-23. Josh, they led this game 21-7 until 12 seconds left in the first half. They should have run away with it, but unfortunately, Drake May coughs it up with 32 seconds left in the first half, and that leads to a Falcons immediate touchdown. He also threw a pick late in the third that led to an Atlanta field goal, so not the best day from Drakey. They had constant pressure on him once again, just as Cleveland did the game before. And Atlanta should have at least sent this game to overtime, but John Parker Romo misses the extra point and the Patriots escape. I'm sure you saw plenty of this on Red Zone because there were 6 touchdowns in this game. From a non-biased fan perspective, does it look like Drake May is the problem, or does it look like the offensive line is the problem from, a catbird view?
Obviously, pressure is always going to make quarterbacks make mistakes. A lot of times that's the whole point of a defense is to get pressure to make a quarterback make mistakes. I would say obviously you got to blame a little bit of both because obviously him being a younger quarterback, that kind of shows the inexperience. Like, okay, let's not make those mistakes. Obviously, sometimes it's unavoidable. Like sometimes it just happens. But I would obviously put more of the onus on the offensive line and then say, those are stumbling blocks or learning opportunities for Drake to be like, okay, next time okay, maybe I don't force this, maybe I look there, you know what I mean, to grow as a young player. So I would still say, obviously, the biggest thing about a younger quarterback is offensive line. You want to protect him. You want to make it so he doesn't have to make those decisions right away.
Yep, I would tend to agree. I would also tell you that the Atlanta Falcons actually have one of the best fronts in football. At least this year, they've greatly improved it. They have the second best pressure rate among all teams in the league. That obviously did not change on Sunday, but Drake was sacked 6 times in this game. Only Cam Ward has been sacked more. So that's not a trend that you want to have continue. I also found it a little bit odd that the Patriots did not do anything to add at the trade deadline on Tuesday. I would have liked to see a little bit of offensive line depth, would have liked to have seen some edge rushing depth on the other side. They did neither. Did not add a receiver either. Drake May in this game, 19 to 29, 259 yards, the 2 touchdowns. I mentioned the 2 turnovers, which led to 10 points. Travion Henderson in place of Stevenson, 14 carries for 55 yards, 4 catches for 32. Terrell Jennings back up, found the end zone and running back. Stephon Diggs, another score for him, 3 catches for 38 yards. Demario Douglas, 4 for 100 and a score. On the other side, Michael Penix Jr., 221 yards, 3 touchdowns for him. All 3 of them to Drake London, who is a beast, by the way. One of the best contested catch guys in the league that's come into the league in the last few years. London, 9 catches, 118 yards, and all 3 Atlanta touchdowns. They did shut down Bijan Robinson. They still have not allowed a 50-yard rusher through 9 games this season. That is very impressive. Bijan, 12 for 46, 8. You go ahead if you need to. 8. It's all right. We can stop it too. But 8 catches for 50 yards and no scores for Bijan. 96 yards on 20 touches for him. Patriots are starting to get banged up a little bit here. Kayshon Boutte loses this game with a hamstring injury. Ramondre Stevenson out with a toe injury. He might miss this week as well. And there's another injury on defense, a couple injuries on defense as well. Would have liked to have seen them address some things at the deadline here. Doesn't get any easier for the Patriots either. Next time out, they go to Tampa Bay, which is a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. I don't know why it's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. It should have been flexed, but nevertheless, it's a 1 o'clock game. Tampa coming off their bye at 6-2. A game we will discuss later on. Atlanta's road also does not get any easier. They will travel to Indianapolis and a pissed off Colts team. We will talk about the Colts shortly here. Those are both 1 o'clock games. And now for the dumpster fire that is the Miami Dolphins. We go back to last Thursday night. I'm not sure how much of this game you caught, sir. I did not have to catch much of it to see that a soft landing spot is a great place for an NFL MVP to come back and face this version of the Miami Dolphins. What a dumpster fire. Said it last week, but Baltimore's still very much alive for a playoff spot. It's a weak AFC, and particularly the AFC North. They win this game 28-6. Lamar Jackson misses 4 games, comes back and looks like an MVP right away. And Miami needs to move on from both coach and quarterback. That's obvious. But Josh, one of those things is impossible or next to impossible. Can you guess which one it is?
I would guess you're leaning towards Tua because he has a much bigger contract than Mr. McDaniels.
Coaches are always expendable in this league, as we've seen. Meanwhile, Tua Tagovailoa, he's already doing this stuff. He is owed for another 3 years, and I'm not even talking about the money owed. Let's just talk about the cap hit for Tua. Next year, it's $56.4 million. The year after that, it's $53.4. And in 2028, when he'll have no brain cells left, it's $65.8 million against the cap. Miami is screwed here.
And they don't have any backdoors in that contract that they can like.
Those have already, it was actually 2-year longer contract. That's already been voided because of the concussion from last year. So he was supposed to be signed through 2030, but it was voided out already. That's their backdoor. They are stuck with him through 2028. He's getting his money. So really, a Wendy's wrapper, dude? You've got to be kidding me. I have the fattest cat on the planet. If anybody wants a fat cat, you're eating out of a Wendy's wrapper. First of all, why is there a Wendy's wrapper on the floor? But second, why are you eating processed cheese out of it? You stupid. Oh my God. This is really good content right here. Speaking of Tua, in this game, 25 out of 40 for 261 and a pick, because obviously Miami didn't score a touchdown. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson, 204 yards and 4 touchdowns. Okay, Derrick Henry, 119 on the ground, 2 receptions, two catches, 2 touchdowns for Mark Andrews. Zay Flowers, 5 for 64. Charlie Kohler for the second week in a row with a touchdown. I think he's the third tight end, I think. And Rashad Bateman, they both had touchdown catches. Devon Ashawn, 14 carries, 67 yards. A great player lost in a terrible team. 6 catches for 39. I really like A-Chain. Malik and Taj Washington, both the Washingtons from Miami, they both lost fumbles. I bet you didn't know who Taj Washington was, at least. And Taj's lost fumble led to an immediate Baltimore touchdown. And then, 2 days later, Miami trades their starting safety, Jalen Phillips. Yeah, I got that right. At the trade deadline for a third-round pick. Jalen Waddle, the wide receiver, and Bradley Chubb, the defensive tackle. They were covered, maybe defensive end. They were coveted, ultimately did not move. The asking price too high on both those players. Anyway, screw Miami. Josh, Baltimore's next 4. At Minnesota, at Cleveland. Home against the Jets and home against the Bengals. The combined record of those 4 teams is 10-23. Baltimore is sitting at 3-5. Where will they be sitting in 4 weeks from now?
I could see him going 3-1 in that stretch. Hard to just guarantee 4 straight wins, so I'll say Minnesota might be able to give them a run for money. I don't think they looked great last week, but they somehow did pull a win against Detroit, not to bury lead there, but
we were just about to talk about that. Thanks for spoiling that for everybody who didn't know 4 days later.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say 3-1 would be my guess.
Yeah, I think it absolutely go 4-0 and end up 7-5, but I think 3-1 is much more realistic. I think that's entirely doable. I think that will happen. So if Baltimore's sitting 6-6 through 12 games, I mean, we'll talk about the Steelers later. Steelers got a big win on Sunday, too. Upset Sunday in Week 9, by the way. 4 distinct upsets all in the 1 o'clock window that we're about to get to, folks. But Baltimore has a chance to get right back in it, and Baltimore's gotten healthy on the defensive side of the ball, which is obviously huge because they were going nowhere the way they were earlier on. We just mentioned that they will play Minnesota. That's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. We will talk about that game later in the show, folks. And Miami, it's not going to get any easier. They're probably falling to 2-8 because they are hosting the Buffalo Bills at 1 o'clock. On Sunday, Upset Sunday, Week 9, we start Minnesota at Detroit. Josh just told you, Minnesota pulls it out of their ass. They beat the deal. Well, they really didn't. They were kind of in control of this game, I think. They never trailed. But they win 27-24 at Detroit. That's an impressive win, especially when J.J. McCarthy hadn't played for 5 games, and we kind of weren't sure if he could play at all.
But well, I mean, he didn't play exceptionally well, but
no.
143 yards or whatever it might have been. He wasn't.
That's right. Yep.
Wasn't lighting the world on fire. We'll say that.
Well, apparently he's 9. On Sundays, he's 9. He's not JJ. He's 9. So he's got that tool bag, douchey quarterback thing in him. But maybe he's a winner. I don't know. Won a national championship. Never know. But Detroit with the 3-point loss. They dropped to 5-3. Minnesota crucial gets to 4-4. Detroit was favored by 9.5 in this game. And that's not the biggest upset of the day. We're going to get to that in a minute. You know where I'm going with that too. But Detroit was favored by 9.5 in this game. But divisional football, it's weird. Happens a lot.
Very weird.
Minnesota never trailed. They were up 27-17 with 3:31 to play. They sealed the game right there. The Lions would score a minute and a half later. But a J.J. McCarthy 16-yard completion on 3rd and 5 on the Vikings' next drive iced the game for Minnesota. A surprising win. Detroit still boasts the second best offense in the league, sir. They are at 29.9 points per game, but it is 3.5 points per game less than last year. And they have fallen from 7th to 13th in scoring defense and allowed 2 more points per game than last year. The result was a 5-3 record. They've already lost more games than they lost all of last regular season when they went 15-2. So
yeah, and we kind of talked about that in the preseason show where the loss of those 2 coaches can't be overstated.
Nope.
And you think about their defense, they're healthier than they were last year.
Right.
They didn't have Aiden Hutchinson last year. Their secondary was completely depleted. And this year you have a healthy Hutchinson and you're healthier in the back end and you're worse. So that obviously shows
coaching.
They're missing Glenn a little. And we kind of said that in the beginning of the year. We didn't expect them to go 15-2 again. We expected to see some more losses this year because of that. I think we might have overstated it in the preseason show because, especially after that first week, we were kind of like, oh, they're dead in the water, you know what I mean? But they've kind of righted the ship But 5-3 is a little different, than 15-2 because at this point last year, I think they might have been 7-1. I think they only had one loss at this point.
I believe you're right about that. It's hard to point at the offense really because, like, again, they're second in the league in scoring, but
Yeah, 30 points a game is should be good enough.
should be good enough to be like a 6-2, 7-1 team. You're right. Um, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both don't look the same to me.
Mhm.
At least on the if you check the stat book, that would bear itself out. But I mean, Sam Laporta's having a better year than he had last year. Amon-Ra is still the same, and Jared Goff's even more efficient this year than he was last year. So it's weird to say the least. Again, I'm not ready to say JJ McCarthy's good or he's going to be a good NFL QB, but two fairly impressive victories in his 3 starts this season. Like you said earlier, JJ, 143 yards passing on 14 out of 25, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. Aaron Jones, 9 carries, but 78 yards. Justin Jefferson, 6 catches for 47 yards, and what I think is his first touchdown of the year.
Found
Jordan
Peter.
Addison, yeah, it's weird. Jordan Addison, 2 catches for 48. TJ Hawkinson, 2 catches, 11 yards, and his touchdown. Jared Goff, 25 out of 37, 284, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. David Montgomery, 40 yards and a rushing touchdown. He lost the fumble. Jahmyr Gibbs, just 9 carries for 26 yards. Weird.
And that was something I'd like to look at if you're a Detroit fan or if you just enjoy football. I've seen some clips of breakdown of this game. I guess Minnesota really exposed Jahmyr Gibbs in pass protection. Whenever he was in pass protection, they were blitzing the linebackers through the A gap, and almost every time they were getting pressure. I think Gibbs let up a season high of any running back, 7 pressures while he was in pass protection, which is very high. 7 pressures in one game allowed. If that was a guard or a tackle or whatever, like they'd probably be getting, reamed in, film review the next day. So we'll going forward to see if other teams try to exploit that. That might be interesting.
Yeah, that is it. That's a good point, and that's a great stat that you brought up. It just goes to show you how good Brian Flores still is as a defensive coordinator. He's been blackballed as a head coach, but boy, can he coach defense. I mean, that's just smart. That's beyond that. That's how you win the game. X's and O's in the trench. That's a lot of times that's how you do it. And yeah, he's an undersized back. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to do that against David Montgomery because he's proven that he can handle that stuff. That's why he had more carries in this game. But Montgomery did also lose a fumble that led to the McCarthy touchdown run in the middle of the third quarter. So there's that. Mon-Ra with his usual 9 catches for 97 yards on 13 targets. Sam Laporta, 6 catches for 97 yards and a score. And Jamison Williams, he can't read, but he can play football. 4 catches, 66 yards and a score for him. We've already mentioned that Minnesota will face Baltimore. Baltimore is 3-5 coming into that game. Minnesota 4-4, 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And Detroit will travel to Washington for a 425 tilt with the Commanders. And that should be a get-right spot for them. We will talk about that cursed franchise a little bit later. Actually, quite a bit later because they were the Sunday night game. Upset Sunday continues. We move along to the Green Bay Packers hosting the Carolina Panthers, and this one really makes no sense. Other than the fact that Green Bay are frauds, and we all overhyped the crap out of them after 2 weeks, just like we did with the Saints last year, although there's a big difference between those two teams. The Green Bay is good, but they're not that good, and that's pretty clear. I have a couple numbers for you. First of all, Carolina beats the Packers. I got to bury the lead. Green Bay favored by 13. They score 13.
I was going to say, they only scored 13.
Carolina wins 16-13. The Carolina Panthers have a winning record at 5-4 with a bottom 6 offense in a minus 35 point differential. They have a winning record. Unbelievable. It was 13-6 Carolina until 2:32 to go.
That's a good pull.
Yeah, hey, every once in a while I come up with them, right? You're usually good with the stat guy, but I said to myself, I got to bring some stats for this show. So, yeah, bottom 6 offense, minus 35 point differential, 5 wins, 4 losses. Riddle me that. 13-6 Carolina until 2:32 to go in the fourth when Green Bay tied it up on a 1-yard touchdown run for Josh Jacobs. But then Bryce Young and Rico Dowdle.
What a revelation he's been, huh?
Best player on the Panthers?
Not a stretch.
Combined to move it 40 yards to get Carolina in position to win it. 1 second left. Ryan Fitzgerald, 49-yard field goal is good. Carolina shocks Green Bay in Lambeau. In 16-13, listen to this quarterback line for the Carolina Panthers quarterback, Bryce Young. 11 out of 20, 102 yards, an interception.
It's gross.
They won the game. That interception led to a McManus field goal, but Rico Dowdle, they have finally figured out that he's better than Chuba Hubbard. 25 carries, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Chuba had 5 carries. I suppose maybe he was hurt. Dowdle's a better back. At least he looks bigger and faster this year than he was in Dallas last year. Good for him to get out of that dumpster fire in Dallas and go to a mediocre, some semi-garbage fire in Carolina. But they have a winning record. Bottom 6 offense. Ted McMillan, 4 catches, 46 yards. Jordan Love, 273 scoreless yards and an interception. That interception led to a Carolina touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 87 on the ground, a TD. Romeo Dubes, 7 catches, 91 yards. Christian Watson, 2 catches for 58 in his second game back from an ACL. And speaking of ACLs, a big loss for the Packers in this game, Josh, as Tucker Kraft blows out his knee. He had 6 receiving touchdowns already this season. That sucks. That was one of the next, I believe that was the next up-and-coming great tight end in the league, and he just went down for the rest of the season. And that's a big loss for their offense because they don't love their receivers that much in Green Bay.
No, especially Jaden Reed, snaps his collarbone. You did get Watson back. I do think they like Watson's, but obviously they're probably easing him back. It was only week 18 when he tore his ACL. But yeah, Tucker Kraft, he's been explosive. He came like on strong last year too. And then just continued where he was, and he's been a revelation for them this year. So it sucks to see him go down. It really does.
It absolutely does. He had 50 catches and 7 touchdowns last year. He already had 6 this year. So that is going to be that loss is going to impact the Packers. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. The Carolina Panthers, meanwhile, will host the New Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
What a game!
Yeah, what a game.
Must-watch TV.
It's must-watch TV, but I got a weird feeling about that game because Carolina's a really weird team, as we're talking about. And the Green Bay Packers, it will not get easier for them, obviously, because they just lost to this, and now they're going to face the defending Super Bowl champions on Monday Night Football. It'll be Philly at Green Bay on Monday night. In Week 10, we are flying along this week, folks. I've tried to make it a little more streamlined so we can have more back and forth and less gobbledygook from me. In the case, we have 2 more upsets to go, technically. This one a bigger one than the last one I'm going to mention, because the last one shouldn't have been an upset, but it technically was. But the Indianapolis Colts traveled to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers in the 1 o'clock window. And the Colts were favored by, I believe, 3 in this game. There was 3 on Sportsbook Rhode Island. I know that, yeah. Reliable source. Anyway, the Steelers beat the Colts. Colts just their second loss. I know why. We know why they did, and we're going to talk about that. You can't turn the ball over 5 and 6 times against the Steelers. They're going to beat you. The fact that the Colts only lost by 7 is a minor miracle. They turned the ball over 6 times in this game. Are we seeing the old version of Daniel Jones, or is this a one-off? I wonder. I implore you. 31 out of 50 for 342, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, a rushing touchdown, and 2 lost fumbles. Is that old Daniel Jones, or is this a one-off? Because they couldn't establish the run because they fall so behind in the game. They have a great offensive line. You can't ask Daniel Jones to put the ball out 50 times and expect to win a game, I don't think. That's not a recipe for success.
Yeah, I would say it's a one-off. He's been playing really well this year. And every quarterback's going to have a game where they look back and go, yeah, I wish I could get rid of that one. I think it's a one-off. Especially it's very strange because Pittsburgh's defense over the last 2-3 weeks has looked atrocious. So it was really interesting to see him just coughing it up and throwing it to the other team. It definitely shows you signs of that old Daniel Jones still being there, of course. Like, if you have a bad habit, sometimes they show up no matter how much you've done to try to get rid of it. But I think, you look at the first, 7-1, the first 8 games, he's shown that he's grown a lot. And obviously Steichen has done a lot to put him in a position where he can really flourish. And obviously a lot of that has to do with Jonathan Taylor and the offense. But I think for the most part, I think this is a one-off.
I would tend to agree with you. I will say this much. 2 of 3 of Jones's interceptions led to Pittsburgh touchdowns, and 1 of the lost fumbles led to the 3rd Pittsburgh touchdown. They only scored 3 touchdowns in the game. So 21 points off turnovers. That's a good way to win a football game. Daniel Jones, I think Colts led at 7-0 until 6 minutes to play in the first half. Pittsburgh scored a 1-yard touchdown from Jalen Warren. Then a Daniel Jones interception on the following Colts drive gave the ball to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the red zone. 2 plays later, Rodgers hits Fryer move for a 12-yard touchdown pass. Colts go 3-and-out after that. Pittsburgh adds a field goal. Half expires, 17-7 Pittsburgh. Boom, just like that. No scoring in the third. Steelers would add a touchdown in the first minute of the fourth. Colts were too far behind, 27-20 final. Jonathan Taylor, you mentioned him. He's been excellent this year. Probably was getting some MVP votes, but only 14 carries for 44 yards in this one for him. The receivers played well for the Colts. I mean, he put it up 50 times and had 342 yards. Pittman, 9 catches for 115. Alec Pierce, 6 catches for 115. Josh Downs, 6 catches for 57 and a touchdown. He lost a fumble. And Tyler Warren, 5 catches for 26. 41 of Jones's 50 attempts went to those 4 guys. That is their offense in a nutshell. And they have.
Well, I mean, they did just get rid of Mitchell as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, they did it 2 days later, but yeah, well, they said if you can't successfully bring the ball into the end zone before you drop it, we don't want you on this team. So they sent him to the New York Jets.
I was gonna say they sent him to the perfect team then.
Perfect team, still the dumbest team alive. Speaking of which, the Jets didn't play this week, but we got to talk about the Colts here. The Colts acquire. I'm not sure how good he still is, but he's been on such a bad team. I think playing on this team is going to be good for Sauce Gardner. I still think is one of the top corners.
Their defense is already pretty strong.
What's that?
Their defense is already pretty strong. Adding him to it,
yes.
I mean, he's probably still going to be their number 1 corner, but I don't think the onus is going to be on him as much as it was in New York.
No, definitely not. Basically, Jim Irsay's daughter, who's seems to be a very proactive owner. She's on the sidelines with a headset, learning the game and everything. She basically said, "F them picks, trade them away." The Colts trade 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, and what seems like a pretty unprecedented trade deadline trade. That's a good move for the Colts, I think. You go ahead and burn those picks. You're expecting to be one of the last 6 teams in the dance this year. You go for that. That makes perfect sense to me. Pittsburgh didn't have to do that much to win this game. I mean, Rodgers throws for 203 and a score. Warren, 31 yards on the ground and 2 scores. Fryermuth, 3 catches for 27. Calvin Austin, 5 for 56. DK Metcalf, just 2 catches for 6 yards and a win. So I'd like to see him get going a little bit more with Rodgers. And by the way, Pittsburgh wants Rodgers back next season. Anyway, Pittsburgh will have another stiff test as they will travel to the LA Chargers, the San Diego Superchargers, on Sunday Night Football. And Atlanta, we already mentioned Indy will host Atlanta. Atlanta's 3-5. That game is in Germany. Another 9:30 game this week.
I was going to say, another international game this week.
Germany. We just can't get enough of these international games and taking home dates away from the real fans. It's really awesome. Great job. And I'm sure it's never gonna change either. Okay. Upset Sunday is almost over. We have one more. And this really shouldn't have been an upset. Denver should have been favored in this game. Denver beats Houston on the road 18-15. The Broncos go to 7-2. And Houston drops to 3-5. Josh, another game and another fourth quarter comeback for Bo Nix. 4 game-winning drives and 7 wins for Nix this season. 4 out of 7, he's let them back. 7 of them in 26 career games. The kid's got that gene in him. He's got that clutch thing. I know it doesn't look good sometimes. The line doesn't look good in this one at all. And yet, they're 7-2. It doesn't hurt to have Sean Payton as a coach either, even if he's keeping the training wheels on him. The kid's winning games. Is it eerily reminiscent of another guy that wasn't putting up numbers early in his career? Well, no, because he didn't win the Super Bowl in his first year as a starter. So we're not going to say that. Calm down, Denver fans. I know you're excited. Anyway, what do you think? So you and I have discussed Bo Nix a little bit on the show before. Are you ready? Are you buying in yet, or is it
No.
you're not buying in? They're 7-2. They've pulled. No. I'm not making an argument for him or playing advocate necessarily. They pulled one out of their ass against the Giants. They pulled one out of their ass here against Houston. They're pulling a lot of them out at the end.
Yeah,
sustainable.
I agree. I heard someone, I don't know what media pundit it was, but he said, Bo Nix looks like he just doesn't care. Like when he plays, he just he's so enigmatic. It makes 0 sense. They should have killed Houston. They had Davis Mills in.
True.
CJ Stroud went down in the first quarter. CJ Stroud threw 10 passes in this game.
Early in the second, but yeah.
And they were down the entire game.
Yeah.
They were down the entire game.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. It's
Yeah.
mind-boggling. I
So
just don't get that. This should be a game where, it shouldn't take a comeback. Bo Nix should have control of this game. I will say I did just watch Houston's defense all last week because I watched the Niners play. And I would say they do have a very good defense. I wouldn't say it's a bad defense, but I think Denver's defense is much better. They went out this season and got a bunch of free agents and got a bunch of players and a bunch of talent. Your offense, especially with no CJ Stroud, your offense is better than the Texans. This game should not have been as close where it's 18-15.
Nope, but it was. So here's how that happened. Denver's lone score in the first 3 quarters was a 30-yard Cortland Sutton touchdown catch with 5 minutes left in the first half. That was their only score in 3 quarters.
It was a nice pass.
Houston, yeah, well, like I said, he can just pull one out of his whenever he wants. I don't know. That's a good way to describe the kid, I think. Houston had 5 field goals through 3 quarters. It was 15-7 heading into the fourth. Houston's lead. They did not score a touchdown in this game because they had Davis Mills. Broncos would cap a 61-yard drive with a Knicks pass to R.J. Harvey very early in the fourth quarter. 12:34 left in regulation. It's a 27-yard touchdown. Knicks would then connect with Troy Franklin, his favorite receiver, a 2-pointer to tie it. At least if you go by targets, he is. As you mentioned, CJ Stroud left this game early in the second quarter for the Texans. He has a concussion. He did not return. After Denver ties the game, Josh, 7 straight possessions for punts. 7 straight punts. I would have loved to watch this game. Broncos got the ball back with 50 seconds left to go in their own 36. They get it last. It's Knicks to Harvey for 3. He then scrambles for 25. Dobbins for 9, puts Denver in field goal range. Timeout Houston. 2nd and 1. Dobbins for 2. Picks up the first down. Timeout Houston. Game's pretty much over. Knicks up the middle for 9 more. Timeout Denver. Will Lutz, 34-yard field goal. Good. Denver. Rabbit out of the hat. 18-15. Final score. The Knicks line. 18 out of 37 for 173 yards. 2 touchdowns and an interception. It's 36 yards on the ground. That's the line for Bo Nix.
That's so gross.
You know what's grosser is Davis Mills, who's a backup, but Bill Belichick wanted to draft him instead of Mac Jones, guys. 17 out of 30 for 137 for Davis Mills in relief.
Also pretty.
J.K. Dobbins for the Broncos, 15 carries, 61 yards. R.J. Harvey, 5 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. He's a touchdown machine, but yet they won't give him the ball out of the backfield. Somebody that has him in Dynasty would probably be annoyed by that.
I was going to say, someone sounds personally mad.
That one, there was a little extra slant in my voice for that one. Nico Collins, who I also have in Dynasty, 7 catches for 75 yards on 11 targets. That's not bad considering he had Davis Mills throwing to him. And Dalton Schultz, 6 catches for 77. But Houston falls to 3-5. And honestly, in that division, I mean, they're facing the Jags on Sunday. That's who they play next, the 1 o'clock game. But the Jags, well, they got 2 games on you at least. They might have 3, 2.5. I think they went to 6-3. We'll talk about that in a bit. And Denver will host the Raiders tonight on Thursday Night Football. We will talk about that game because we have to, because it's Thursday. So we're going to have to talk about that game. I have a theory on that game. Next up, since Josh is twiddling his thumbs literally over there, I guess he's bored. So I'm going to get to this. So the next game is going to be the San Francisco 49ers, guys.
Ooh.
We get to talk about the 49ers beating up on a team. Well, they didn't really beat up on them, but they beat a bad team on the road. They did what they're supposed to do. San Francisco 34, Giants 24. San Francisco goes to 6-3, and this is impressive. It is impressive for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you why in a second. The Giants fall to 2-7 without their best 2 offensive players. Mac Jones improves to 5-2 as a starter this season as Brock Purdy continues to battle the vicious turf toe. Meanwhile, Christian McCaffrey continues to take on all the work he can handle. I mean, all of it. 33 more touches in this game. He leads the league with 168 carries and 229 total touches through 9 weeks. He is on pace to lead the league in touches for the 3rd time in his career. And Josh, he also leads the league from yards. He leads the league in scrimmage yards. So you got that going for them. They are riding the crap out of their horse. And if he goes down, 49ers are screwed because they have no receivers healthy except Jawan Jennings right now. And Mac Jones doesn't want to throw to him.
He's not
Anytime.
even, he's not even healthy. He's
No,
battling.
he's not. He's gutting it out. You know he is.
They've said he's got 5 fractured ribs. He's got a high ankle sprain, so he's just out there doing what he can. Obviously, Mac Jones loves Kendrick Bourne, but no, their receiving core is awful right now.
What's up with
Mind
Pearsall? Does he have a dislocated knee? Is that what that is?
I have no idea what's going on. Every time I like look into what he has, like I can't find anything. Um, Purdy is still injured, of course, and I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks he doesn't play until after the 14 bye. Um, so I just think the fact that they didn't do anything at the deadline just annoys me more than anything, especially because they dominated that game, right? So they came out, the Giants came out, first possession, they score a touchdown, those scripted plays, those are really hard to defend. I think teams in the NFL, they're very good at that. Those first 10, 15 scripted plays, teams are really good at executing that. After that, they dominated them. It was really a beatdown. I think they scored a garbage time touchdown, so it was really they were up like 2 touchdowns at the end of the game, and then
17
you
points.
Michael Williams tears his ACL like literally on one of the last drives, like I think 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, whatever it was, while the game was kind of out of hand, and you go get no one. You have no one on the defensive line right now. They're gonna call me next. Like I don't understand what John Lynch was thinking. Trey Hendrickson was out there. The Bengals aren't going anywhere. Make some calls, dude. I don't understand it. Receivers are on the block. Like you need receivers. Brandon Ayuk might not even play this year.
Right.
The way they're talking about it. So they're gonna make the playoffs because their schedule is so easy. So they're probably gonna end up going 10-7, 11-6, and making the playoffs. But if you don't have any defense and you don't have a healthy offense, like why? Like what? We want to make the playoffs to go one and done? Like I don't understand. It's really mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm gonna need you to hold that thought for 1 second. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, the team that's had injury issues all year, you see what teams have done that are willing to spend draft capital. I mean, I don't know why John Lynch isn't willing to spend draft capital. He hasn't been a super drafter as it is. This kind of feels like a Don Sweeney type of situation to me. Not to cross sports or anything or cross streams, but anywho, Mac Jones, the former first round pick of the Patriots, actually played well in this game. 19 out of 24, 235, 2 touchdowns. Did lose a fumble, didn't lead to points. Christian McCaffrey, 28 carries, 106 yards and a score, and 5 catches for 67 yards and another score. And Jawan Jennings and his 5 broken ribs and more injuries he probably has, 4 catches for 41 and a score. Brian Robinson got into this game for 5 carries, added 51 yards and a score. I feel like they should lean on him a little bit more because they need McCaffrey if they're going to do anything. And Robinson's a perfectly capable back. I mean, he's got to be one of the best backup running backs in the league, I would think. Flip side, Darty Party in the loss for the G-Men, 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, 56 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And Wan'Dale Robinson had 9 catches for 46. San Francisco's life does not get easier, although they do seem to handle the Rams very well. They will face the Rams at home on Sunday at 4:25. They beat the Rams earlier this season with Mac at the helm. Big game for Kendrick Bourne. That's a 4:25 game. And the Giants will travel to Chicago to take on the Bears at a 1 o'clock showdown on Sunday.
The Bears.
The Bears, who are, well, we'll get to them shortly. Chargers at Titans. Right, anyway, the Chargers travel to Tennessee to take on the lowly Titans. And Josh, it looked like the Chargers might be in trouble, down 14-7 after the first. But then they score 20 unanswered points to go up 27-17, 12:58 to go. Titans can only muster a field goal after that. So the Chargers obviously travel to Nashville, but they end up winning it 27-20. Titans are 1-8. 1-8. That is only tied for the worst record in the league with other teams we'll talk about. But yeah, they put up 20. They had just 206 total yards of offense, did the Titans. So, not much of a challenge for the Chargers here. Cam Ward just 12 out of 21 for 145. Tony Pollard, 10 carries for 56 yards. Apparently, the Patriots were interested in Pollard's services at the deadline, but the Titans owner refuses to trade with the Patriots because of Mike Vrabel, who she fired. Oh, she must have been really mad that Vrabes went back to accept his Patriots Hall of Fame nomination when he was still the coach. She must have been really mad about that. So, yeah, that's awesome. Way to go, Titans, as usual. Great franchise that's going nowhere. Justin Herbert on the other side, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick. 57 yards on the ground and another score. His interception opened the game, basically, with a pick 6 for Tennessee. Tennessee scores their other touchdown on a 67-yard punt return by Shamir DK. No offensive touchdowns for Tennessee in this one. So here we go. Tennessee Titans are dead last in offense at 14.4 points per game and are third worst in defense. They have a minus 127 point differential. It's still a 3-horse race. I'm sorry, it's a 3-pony race. Maybe a 3-quarter horse race for the top pick in the 2026 NFL draft, but the Titans out in front. Josh, what do you make of the Chargers? I mean, can you draw anything from this game?
You can draw the fact that they lost Joe Alt for the year, and that's going to be a huge loss for them. You saw when he was out the difference in that team. They started off the year so well, and then he went down, and we were kind of looking after those 2-3 weeks where they just looked like they couldn't do anything right. We were like, what team are we going to get? And then he goes down again. And now they're saying he needs season-ending surgery. So it'll be tough to see how they bounce back, because when he was gone, their offensive line had no continuity. They couldn't block for Herbert. He was running for his life. And he's one of those guys like Joe Burrow, Andrew Luck, that through those first 6 years, he's been hit more. I think he's been hit more than both of them. So that's not something you want for your franchise quarterback, to be in the group with those two names, because everyone knows what happened to Luck, and everyone has seen what has happened to Burrow in the last 3-4 years. So obviously, I think Herbert's more athletic than Burrow, but again, you don't want him to have to use that athleticism all the time. You want him to be able to sit in the pocket and make good throws. He's a very good quarterback. Let him just be a quarterback. You don't need him running for his life every game.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Drake May mold, where it's like you wish he wouldn't run it so much. You wish you wouldn't have to run it so much. You wish you wouldn't run it so much, because you're going to get yourself beat up and injured eventually.
And like you said with the Drake May thing, you can tell they are pure throwers of the football. They can throw the football. That's what you want to see him do. It's nice when he can escape and then make a play. Yeah, that's great, but we don't want you doing it all the time.
Right.
Because we'll get to it later. We saw what happened Sunday night.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, well, that'll be discussed at length, I think. Chargers are mid-pack in offense, though, just 17th in the league in scoring. So that's a surprise. They really don't have a running game right now. Well, they do when they decide to use Kamani Vidal in the wake of Omari and Hampton, but they're waiting to get Hampton back. It seems like Herbert led the team in rushing. Like I said, 57 yards in this game. You don't want him running 10 times a game. So
yeah, I was gonna say anything over 5-6 times, you could scramble 3-4 times a game and be okay. When you're having designed runs for your quarterback, you're getting into a scary zone where bad things can happen.
Correct. And the Chargers will host the Steelers in Week 10. Pittsburgh 5-3, Chargers 6-3 should be a good one on Sunday Night Football. Tennessee, mercifully for their poor fans, is on the bye this week. They are 1-8. Now, let's get to a fun game where I'm not even going to try to recap it because it's just too much. But let's get to a fun game. Two ugly-ass teams that put on a show on Sunday. And I'm talking about the Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals, where the Chicago Bears, first of all, 1,071 yards of offense in this game. 470 yards passing for the great Joe Flacco. 5 fourth-quarter touchdowns between the two teams. And the most points scored in a game for the Bears since 2018. 47-42, Chicago beats the Cincinnati Bengals in their what is it, JUCO? Their JUCO defense. They are playing junior college level defense in Cincinnati. For example, the Bengals have now allowed 31 points or more in 5 out of 9 games. They're 3-6 through 9 weeks. Chicago goes to 5-3. I thought they would beat Baltimore last week. This league is just all over the place right now. They should have beat Baltimore with Huntley last week, but nope. Nope. Lost by 2 touchdowns. Okay. Caleb Williams, 280
They were
yards.
on the verge of losing this game too.
Yes, they were. They were trailing until very late. It took a miracle touchdown from Colston Loveland,
I'm
their
pretty sure
rookie
they
tight
still had
end.
like 18 seconds left.
Yes, it was a catch and run of I think 58 yards with 18 seconds left that got them to
Because
win.
the Bengals decided to tackle each other and not Loveland.
It's one of those calamity things, right? It's a train wreck, but you got to keep watching it. You can't look away. Bengals have been like that, man. You know what? Even if they had Burrow, Flacco's putting up numbers. Flacco's balling out.
500 yards.
470, 31. Flacco, I have it in all caps. 31 out of 47 for 470. 4 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions and a lost fumble. That's a Flacco line for you, even at the ripe old age of 40. On the other side, Caleb Williams, 20 out of 34, 280. 4 touchdowns for him. He had a 53 on the ground. He also had 2 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, tell you.
DJ Moore, you know I hate that word. DJ Moore, 4 catches for 72 yards. Maybe you don't know it. I'm pretty sure I said it at least once.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can say whatever you want. DJ Moore, 4 catches for 72, but he did throw a 2-yard touchdown pass. And he also had a 17-yard rushing touchdown. So they got him involved. Colston Loveland, 6 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet did go down with a touchdown. With a touchdown. He did go down with a concussion in this game. Do what you got to do. Shut your camera off if you got to do it. It's fine. Olamide Zacchaeus, I got his name right this week. 6 catches for 58 and a touchdown. Flip side, Bengals, Chase Brown, 8 catches for 75. T. Higgins, 7 catches for 121 and 2 scores. Andre Iosivas, 5 for 66 and a score. And Jamar Chase, 6 for 111, but no score. So there you go.
Only 6 with all that. Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, 31 completions, 470 yards, just 6 catches. I think only 7 targets, too. So maybe the Bears tried to make a point to stop him. It didn't really work that well, but anyway, soft landing for Chicago. They're 5-3. They'll get the Giants, as we already mentioned, next week, Sunday at 1 o'clock. I know I haven't really given you any space here. You want to add anything on this game? Cincinnati hits the bye week, and they are not going to be players in the AFC North. I guess, what do we make of the Bears?
I'm still the jury's still out. Like I haven't. Like you just made the comment, like they should have beat Baltimore last week, and now granted you expected them to beat Cincinnati. They allow 42 points to Cincinnati, which I guess you could argue isn't a bad thing because like everyone scores against Cincinnati, and they score against everyone. They put up points. I'd like to know if you know offhand, like how many points a game are they averaging? They got to be close to, to the upper half of the league.
Are you talking about Chicago?
No, I'm talking about Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're only 16th in the league.
Wow.
They're scoring 24 points a game. They're letting up 33.3.
Well, you know what? Because I'm just thinking
with Browning, they weren't doing anything. Now that Flacco's there.
Bias, you have Flacco, who I feel like since they've had Flacco, I think they've broken 30 almost every game. It's just insane. I can't decide yet if Chicago's a good team or they beat bad teams and then, and so I'm still like their wins, Cincinnati, Dallas, Oakland. So like no one that just jumps out at you like, oh wow, they beat
Dallas,
them.
Washington, and the Saints.
Right. So literally all those teams are bad. They're all under 500.
Vegas and Washington were both by 1 point.
Yeah. And Vegas 25-24. I mean, they beat up on Dallas, but again, Dallas's defense is almost as bad as the one they just faced. So, I mean, I will say, I think you see a better version of Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson at the helm. I think we can agree with that. I think he has looked much better in year 2. And he's kind of flourished under Johnson, but, I'm still not bought in on them yet. Not yet.
I tend to agree with you on all of that.
And if you're a Bengals fan or, if you want to go in the comments, if you're a Bengals fan, why didn't they sell? Why didn't they just go like, you're done. You're 3-6. You're done. Like Trey Hendrickson wanted out this year. You signed him to that little, here's some money contract. Why wouldn't you have gotten rid of him if you're not going to pay him the big deal? It's just they got rid of Wilson, their linebacker. But I mean, why wouldn't you get rid of some of these pieces and try to reset for next year?
I don't know. I think another guy that would have been that nobody really talked about, but I think T. Higgins would have been a good guy to trade too.
Absolutely, get rid of that
Definitely.
contract.
Yeah, exactly. You know why they probably couldn't is because they gave him the stupid contract, right? Because they're the Bengals, so they're paying like 47% of their salary, or maybe it's probably less now that they paid Hendrickson, right? But before the season, when they signed Higgins,
Three guys.
Burrow, Higgins, Chase, I think it was 47% of their salary cap.
Yeah.
You cannot win like that. It's not possible. You can't pay anybody to play defense. So as we mentioned, Cincinnati on the bye week, and the Chicago Bears, who we do not believe are for real, but they very well may be 6-3 after Sunday. They play the Giants, who are 2-7, 1 o'clock on Sunday. Another one we get to talk about. This one's a snooze fest. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, Josh. New Orleans traveled to the Rams on Sunday, and what would be the most obvious choice for the survivor pools in Week 9. I certainly made that choice, and I have
This was a
moved on.
bully beatdown. This was a bully beatdown.
I have moved on to the next week, as you would expect. The Rams 34, the Saints 10. Saints are tied with Tennessee at 1-8 for the worst record in the league, while the Rams improved to 6-2. Just a few stats, because I have to give you something. I'm not doing any breakdown. There's no reason to do it. This is this is a ass kicking and a half. Total yards, New Orleans 224, Rams 438. Time of possession, this may be the worst I've ever seen in any game that I've ever seen. What is this? For the Rams, 43 minutes and 53 seconds of time of possession. The New Orleans Saints had the ball for 16 minutes and 7 seconds.
Just a little over a quarter.
They might go 1-16. They might go 1-16. They really want Arch Manning that bad. And I know he's not playing that well. Whatever they want, they're going to have it because it's a race to 1-16 between them and the Titans. I think the Jets are going to win another game or two. I do. I honestly do. I don't know why, but I honestly do. The Saints are scoring 15.3 points per game, and somehow the Titans are worse. Somehow. So that one is a race to 1-16. Do they play each other? I wish they did.
No, we don't.
Someone would win 6-3.
That.
Someone would win 6-3. I wouldn't wish that on the poor people that have to root for those teams. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. Especially the people of New Orleans. They've been through enough, as we know. Okay. Stats for the Saints. You ready for this? Tyler Shuck, 15 out of 24, 176 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Alvin Kamara, who said he didn't want to be traded, 6 carries for 14 yards, and he lost the fumble. The fumble led to a Rams touchdown. Rashid Shaheed led the team in receiving with 5 catches and 68 yards. What did they do with Shaheed 2 days later?
Tell him to the Seahawks. Now,
trade him to a team. Good for Shaheed. He gets to go be on a winning team now.
but why not Olave?
Poor Chris Olave, who's having a great season after like 3 or 4 years in a row of just horrible injuries. 3 catches for 57. He is stuck in New Orleans in the Bayou. And Juwan Johnson, 3 catches for 31, a touchdown. Flip side, Matt Stafford, 282 and 4 scores. Kyron Williams, 114 and a touchdown. Blake Corum got 13 carries. Puka Nacua might have busted a rib because that guy can't stay healthy. He just can't. But 7 catches for 95 yards. I really thought we were done with this. 7 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. And no, I wasn't talking about Puka Nacua. Devontae Adams had 5 for 60 and 2 touchdowns.
My boy.
That's your boy, not mine. 15 out of 32 attempts went to either Puka or Adams. That's 136 of 241 for Stafford. I'm going to probably stop saying that stat because it's almost at 50% now, so it's not that interesting anymore. You want to comment on your team's division rival here, or you want to just move forward? Because I'm fine with either one.
No, there's really not. The Rams killed
They're
them.
legit, though. They're legit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone was questioning the Rams. I think we thought they were a good team at the beginning of the year. Stafford's playing exceptionally well, especially coming out of preseason where everyone was like, is he going to play? Is his back okay? I don't know. It seems to be doing just fine because he's throwing the ball all over the yard. So, yeah, I don't think there's much to say except New Orleans stinks.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. We've already mentioned that the Rams will have a nice divisional showdown at San Francisco, or let's call it Santa Clara, because no one wants to go to San Francisco right now. That's going to be a 4:25 game on Sunday. And New Orleans. Hopefully Carolina doesn't screw this one up. They're going to be at Carolina at 5-4. I have a weird feeling about that game, and I don't know why, because New Orleans is terrible. I don't know why, but I have a weird feeling about that game. We continue to move along. We got 2 left in the 4 o'clock window, and then we go to Sunday night and Monday Night Football, and then that's it for Week 9, guys. So we're here on the Terranadome, and that's Josh Morris. He's back for the 2nd week in a row. That's just the production. That's just the programming call on my part. Just said, you know what? I want you on the show this week. He said, sure. This is a man of no words when he texts you back. None. He says 1 and 2 word answers, and it makes you think that he's mad at you. But that's fine. He's really not. He's just busy being a parent. Anyway, the Jacksonville Jaguars traveled to the Las Vegas Raiders. I know we like to say Oakland. You said Oakland earlier, but it's the Vegas Raiders, which doesn't roll off well at all. By the way, Tom Brady cloned his dog. Did you see that?
I did see that. I almost texted you like, is Tom Brady a weirdo?
That's very weird. That's not normal behavior at all. Let the poor thing die in peace. What is wrong with you? Okay.
I read it and I was like, what?
He's a part owner of the Raiders. That's the only reason I brought up Tom Brady and his dog there. The only reason.
That was topical. It was topical to what we're talking about.
It was. It was a good segue. Just saying. Anyway, the Raiders put up a fight in this game. They did.
This was a really good game.
This was a good game that nobody probably watched. But it goes to overtime. I won't give away the score yet. The Raiders were in position to win this game. It was 23-20 when Brock Bowers scored his 2nd touchdown of the day. Brock Bowers is by far the best player on the Raiders because they were dead in the water until he showed back up. He scores his 2nd touchdown of the game, 152 left in the 4th. And instead of wrapping it up, they let Trevor Lawrence drive at 52 yards in 1:36. 48-yard Cam Little field goal ties it with 16 seconds to go. Overtime. Okay.
Also, before halftime, Cam Little did set the record for the longest field goal in NFL history at 68 yards.
He did it again. He hit a 70-yarder in the preseason. He hit a 68-yard field goal. How did I miss that?
I don't know. He hit it right before halftime, drilled it.
That kid's got a boot. That kid's got a boot, and somebody needs to check the kicking balls in the NFL because this is ridiculous. This is a joke.
It is getting a little insane.
It's a little ridiculous. But anyway, speaking of kicks, the Jags return the opening kickoff of overtime, 54 yards. They kill 6:36 of clock, and they score on a Trevor Lawrence quarterback sneak. It's 30-23 with 3:24 left in overtime. Surely that would be enough for the Jags. Wrong. Raiders then answer because they return their kick 51 yards. Raheem Mostert. 8 plays later, it's Geno Smith to Bowers in the end zone. 3rd time on the day for Brock Bowers, who missed a ton of time this season. Obviously is healthy now. The Raiders are a team that are going nowhere, so I love this move. You're 2-5. You know you suck. Go for the win. Just go for the win. They go for the win. Sorry.
What is a tie going to do you?
Nothing if you're the Raiders.
Right?
They go for the win. They don't get it. Smith's pass is incomplete. Jacksonville escapes 30-29, but I love that move. You're going absolutely nowhere. You can upset a team that's supposed to beat you. I like the move. I got nothing wrong with it. I got nothing bad to say about it.
I bet the players liked it too.
I'm sure they did. I mean, what else do you want to say about the Raiders? I mean, Geno Smith had a day, 29 out of 39, 284, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Ashton Jeanty, 42 on the ground, 57 through the air, and a score. Brock Bowers, man. And this kid is healthy. There's no one better in the league than him right now at that position. 12 catches, 127 yards, 3 scores. Trevor Lawrence somehow wins this game, and they put up 30 points with this line. 220 yards, no touchdowns, a pick, but 2 rushing touchdowns. The enigma that is Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne, 22 carries, 84 yards, 5 catches for 30. And Parker Washington, 8 catches for 90 yards, as Brian Thomas has just 3 for 55. I believe he got hurt at some point in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought he had just bet his under.
Well, yeah, he's probably betting his unders. LSU receiver, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they like to bet. They like betting down there at LSU. We know that. Anything you want to add on the Jags? Jags go to 5-3. They lead the South. No, they don't. Stupid. They're 2 games back in the South. Or they're 1.5 games back in the South. Do they have anything for Indy, or is that Indy's division?
What?
Do they have anything for Indy in the AFC South, or
No,
is that Indy's
I think that's
division?
Indianapolis's division to lose. Like
Okay, so that's a no. Okay,
yeah,
that's a
no,
no.
I'm saying I don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't see them. I don't see Indianapolis losing 4 or 5 games at this point.
4 or 5 more, or 4 or 5 total?
4 or 5 total. Like I could see them going 14-3 or 13-4. So I that means Jacksonville can only lose two. They lose 3 games, in my opinion, that they're out. So I don't think they beat Indianapolis. I did they already play them this year? Or have they not played them at all yet?
I don't think they have.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Jacksonville, another like they're like I think they're in the same category as the Bears.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Right?
say that you beat me to it. Yeah.
Like they beat Kansas City and you're like, wow, like and then they lose some games that you're like, really? So I don't know. I'm kind of again not bought in on them yet. Like you said, who is Trevor Lawrence? Like we can't figure it out. Like it's mind-boggling at this point.
Yeah,
What,
it's
6 years in now? 6 years?
season 5 for Lawrence, 2021
5?
draft class. Yeah. So,
So and
or no,
again,
2020, 2020, 2021, 2020. Yeah, you're right. It's 6th season. You're right. Yeah, we should know by now, but we don't. Maybe I just don't think he's that good. But they will travel to Houston, 1 o'clock game. Houston 3-5. Another one that feels like it's going to be a weird one. And Vegas already mentioned at Denver. Denver 7-2. That's tonight.
yeah,
On
and
Thursday night,
they just traded their number one receiver.
Jacoby Myers. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, the Raiders traded Jacoby Myers.
And
True.
I will say you look at how much their offense looks different with Bowers in the lineup. Clearly, he changes their offensive game plan and what they can and cannot do. So I think it's weird that they traded Myers. Obviously, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, he asked for it. Because he requested it.
I was going to say
why.
Myers.
Right, they traded. Yeah, they right. So he got traded to the Jags. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yep.
casually forgot about that. Appreciate it.
So yeah. So I mean, the Raiders. I think we both agree they're treading water at this point. They're not going anywhere.
Nope.
And their offense, I can only imagine, is going to be progressively worse now. You only have Bowers now. You don't have another option who you throw it. They have Tyler Lockett.
Genty. Trey Tucker's not bad either.
Yeah, no, but I mean, is he a number one?
No. All right, too much lip service to the Raiders. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. We gotta go. But yeah, well, sorry, yeah, but I do like him +9 tonight at Denver for some reason. Denver screws around way too much. Okay,
I would agree.
what was supposed to be the matchup of the week is the last one of the 4 o'clock windows. Kansas City at Buffalo, heavyweight fight in the AFC, and kind of one-sided for the most part, at least from what I could tell. Buffalo beats the Chiefs 28-21. The Chiefs have lost 4 games already. They're 5-4. Buffalo 7, and it should be 6-2. They've already had a bye. I have them at 7-2. They're 6-2. Kansas City did lead this one 10-7 early in the second, but Buffalo controlled it the rest of the way. They led 28-13 at the end of 3. KC touchdown early in the fourth, made it a 1-score game. Buffalo's defense up to the task in this one. Bills 28-21. Mahomes not good. He was supposed to be the front runner for MVP. Woo. Then he goes 15 out of 34 for 250 with no scores and a pick. MVP level stuff right there. Drake May, baby. I'm out of my mind, but not a good line from Mahomes. On the other side, Josh Allen 23 out of 26. He was cooking 273 yards. Like you said, you brought this up last week. Touchdown in the air, 2 on the ground. He has 7 rushing touchdowns in 8 games. Cook 117 on the ground. Kincaid 101 in a score. Allen has a good record against Mahomes in the regular season. I have the question in here. What are the Chiefs exactly? They have the 9th best offense and the 3rd best defense with a plus 76 point differential. But here's the stat. Here's the stat on the Chiefs this year: 0-4 in one possession games.
Wow, what a stark contrast from last year, huh?
Yeah, the complete opposite. Almost like they used up all their luck last year.
I was gonna say eventually, you keep poking the bear, That's what happens. You can't live that way. You're gonna end up, taking some L's. Last year you didn't, because I think they were like 13-1 on one score games. This year you're
It
0
was
and 4.
ridiculous. It was like the craziest season of all time
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
I mean, how many
So,
times did the flag bail him out? I mean, it was like a weekly running gag on the show last year.
yeah. So eventually what happens is, flags don't fall, calls don't go your way, the bounces don't go your way, and now you're 5 and 4. So with those stats that you just listed, you'd think they'd be a two, maybe at most three-loss team.
Oh yeah, I mean top 10 offense and the third best defense, only allowing 17.6 points per game on defense. So you shouldn't be almost 500. That's like the opposite. That's actually the opposite of the Carolina Panthers. You have the same record as the Carolina Panthers. You have a top 10 offense and a top 3 defense. They have a bottom 6 offense and a negative 35 point differential. You have the same record as them. Good for the Chiefs. Couldn't happen to anybody better. Yeah, you knew I would say that. You knew I would say that. Buffalo, meanwhile, couple of hiccups. Maybe they were getting a little before the bye week. I think this wasn't so much of an issue in the Patriots game for them. I think the Falcons game, they were a little beat up. They got beat pretty handily in Atlanta before the bye week. They
Yeah,
look
they did.
healthy. They look strong. There's really still isn't that one team in the league, but there's the cream is starting to rise to the crop a little bit now. We're halfway through. You're starting to see some of it now. The seven of the Buffalo's still a scary team. I
Yeah,
don't.
and if they lean on James Cook,
Yes,
they're a very tough team to beat. Because I mean, he can gash you. He ran all over them.
27 carries for 117 yards, and that's a very good defense that he just tore up.
Yeah.
You got to keep him healthy too. I'd like if they were smart, they would mix in Ray Davis and Ty Johnson a little bit more than they are, because he's not a big back. I don't know if you noticed that. He's extremely elusive. He's one of the most elusive backs in the league, but he's not a big back. So
Well, that was his knock too when he was getting drafted, is that he was small.
that's why he fell to, I think, the second round. I think they drafted him in the second round.
Hmm.
But really good player. Some idiot traded him in a dynasty league and feels really stupid about it. Anyway, Buffalo travels to Miami. The dumpster fire Dolphins are 2-7. That's a 1 o'clock game, and I think the bye week falls at the right time for Kansas City. They will be on the bye in week 10. We have 2 left, folks. I thought this was going to go a little bit quicker, but it hasn't. But it's not Terranadome. Sunday Night Football. This one kind of sucked.
This was a snooze fest, and then the ending really was a gut punch to any NFL fan.
Really was, because the kid is very good. Seattle Seahawks at Washington Commanders, and the Seahawks thrashed Washington in this game.
The Big D gave it to him.
Big D giving him the D. Sam Darnold does it again, baby.
He looks great. He looks phenomenal.
I think I gotta get. See, I can't buy a Seahawks jersey. Not even the
Definitely.
throwback version. You know what? What?
Don't do it.
I can't buy a Seahawks jersey
No.
because my team almost lost the Super Bowl to the Seahawks. I can't do it. I won't do it, but I want to, because Darnold is the man, baby. 4 more touchdowns for
I wonder
Big
if I can
D.
find a Sam Darnold Niners jersey.
Oh, if you could find that, send it to me. Wait, I can't wear a Niners jersey because of you.
I'm saying I could wear it on the show.
That would be funny. That would be funny as F. Maybe
You
they
wear
should
the Vikings one, I'll wear the Niners one, and we'll just have
we'll
Sam
have a
Darnold
Darnold party or something. Yeah, this is getting a little creepy now.
a D party? A big D party?
Big D party. That deserved a long pause. That there needed to be a pause in there. The real takeaway from this game, unfortunately, folks, is not that Sam Darnold threw for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns and only had 3 incomplete passes. That is not the story. The story is not that Jackson Smith and Jigba had 8 catches for 129 yards, 8 catches for 4 games in a row, and has 120 plus receiving yards in 5 out of 8 games this season. That is not the story. Unfortunately, the story is that the Washington Commanders and their great young quarterbacks are apparently cursed. And what I was alluding to last week is apparently not a joke, because poor Jaden Daniels,
Ugh.
brutal dislocated left elbow. Get this. He was injured on the same exact yard line on the field that RG3 shredded his ACL on in his second season 12 years ago. And if that's not a parallel and that doesn't tell you that something is cursed with that team, I don't know what else to tell you. This sucks. It sucks for the league. The kid's really good. He's easy to root for. That franchise deserves a comeback, and they're just not going to get it. Why was he in the game down 20 plus points? Why? Why do you have him in the game?
And it was awful. I was watching it and I was like, I said the same thing. I'm like, what? I'm like, there's 6 minutes left. I'm like, what the hell's the point? What are you gonna do? Score a touchdown? Woohoo! Like, you got your butts kicked. Bench him. Be like, hey, it's okay. We'll get him next week. Move on. Put Mariota in there. If anyone's gonna get hurt, no offense to Mariota, that's who you want it to be. And they were saying it on the broadcast, like Daniels doesn't have. He doesn't have that, like, okay, I'm just going to shut it down option.
No.
Like, if he's out there, he's going to try to ball out and he's going to try to win. Like, that's what he does. And that's what he's doing. He's trying to escape a sack. He's getting flushed out and he just puts his arm out. And, it's just a terrible injury and it sucks because, you don't want to see these, these young, I don't want to say superstars, but that's what you expect them to be. That's how good they look like they can be. And just have a complete year thrashed away. And God only knows how he's going to recover. Like, I mean, it was so brutal. I don't know if you saw the replay. Like,
yeah, I've seen it.
I watched it live, and I was like, "Oh, that looks bad." And then they showed it in super slow motion, and it was just awful.
Which they shouldn't show stuff like that in super slow.
Well, I don't think they knew at the time. They showed it once, and then they were like, "Okay, yep." Like,
yeah,
you could clearly see his elbow go the wrong way, and they were like, "Okay,
his
we're not
arm went
show
the
it."
wrong way. Yeah, It really is a shame. There's really no need for stat lines in this game. Your best receiver was already out. Daniels is having a really bad injury season as it is, and you leave him in there down 24 points. Seattle wins 38-14. They go to 6-2. Washington drops to 3-6. Washington will host Detroit. Good luck on Sunday at 4:25. A pissed off Detroit team. Seattle will face the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday at 4:05. Speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, boy, do the Dallas Cowboys suck. They are just so bad. My goodness. Monday Night Football, Dallas is hosting the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. And you're thinking, well, Dallas is going to ball out tonight. They're going to have a great game. Wrong. Just wrong. Nothing makes sense this season. Nothing makes sense this season. Arizona goes into Dallas. They put up 27 and beat the Cowgirls.
With Jacoby Brissett.
With Jacoby Brissett.
The question we got to be talking, and you're probably going to be, do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
Brissett actually being good for the Arizona Cardinals tells you how stupid and inept that Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt were last year for the Patriots. That's the only was that not exactly what you were going to say?
Not exactly. I was going to say, do we start questioning who should be the starter in Arizona?
Yes, absolutely. But you know me. I friggin' hate Kyler Murray, and I think he's total garbage.
Yeah,
so,
I'm
yes.
just talking about from an eye test.
Yeah, well, there's no contest this year. It's no contest. Brissett has put them in position to win. I think this is his fourth start now. He's put them in position to win 3 out of those 4 games.
And how much better does Harrison look?
He looks like he's actually good, like he's supposed to be.
Right? Like, so I don't know. Like, instead of just throwing the ball to Trey McBride every other, pass, he's actually spreading the ball around to his receivers. He looks like an actual NFL quarterback.
He does. He's keeping the starting job, by the way, because as far as I know, they put Kyler Murray on IR with the injury. I believe that I thought that I heard that yesterday. So he's keeping the job for at least 4 more games. It's not like
it's funny because after the win, the coach came out. Gannon said, "Oh no, Kyler's the starter." So I wonder if they were like, how can we? We'll just put him on IR.
That's the old vote of confidence for the manager right before you fire him in baseball. That's exactly what that is. Arizona had this game won after 3 quarters. That's what I've got in my notes here. And there is something I want to mention at the end of this, too, that needs to be talked about very quickly, but it needs to be talked about. Jacoby Brissett goes 21 out of 31, 262 and 2 scores, no turnovers. Marvin Harrison Jr., you alluded to it, 7 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown for him. McBride did have a good game, 5 catches for 55 yards and a score. Emery DeMercado apparently is out of the doghouse because he ran it 14 times for 79 yards. Other side, Dak just 24 out of 39 for 250, a touchdown and a pick. Javonte Williams, 83 on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 85. George Pickens, 6 for 79. Jake Ferguson, 5 for 50. But I think ultimately this game is not the most important thing that happened to Dallas, and this is very unfortunate that this happened. Marshawn Kneeland, who scored on a fumble return, or he picked up a fumble and scored, right, in this game. He scored one of Dallas's 2 touchdowns. The poor kid took his life last night. So the only thing I have to say is, we've all gone through struggles. Like my camera seems to be lagging at a bad time, but check on your friends and loved ones. Seriously, check on them. I say it at the end of this show all the time. Tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised. It's the truth. Check on your friends and loved ones. You never know what battle is going on up here. That's the truth. I had plenty of friends I had plenty of people I thought were friends turn their backs on me. My real friends stuck by me. Just saying. Everyone goes through something at some point. Poor kid took his own life. You never want to see it. Feel so bad for the family, that team, honestly. You never want to see it. Second round pick last year, Marshawn Nealand, only 24 years old. Never want to see it.
24 years old. That's the sticking point right there. It's just terrible.
It's a tragedy. It honestly is. It honestly is. So yeah, check on your friends and loved ones, for God's sake. I hate having it. You don't ever want to, but you have to say something, right? You can't ignore something like that. That came out this morning. Probably happened last night. So, prayers up for everyone, for that kid's family, and the Cowboys and all that stuff. So, next up, Arizona will go to Seattle at 6-2. That actually will probably be a good game. No, it won't. It's in Seattle. 4:05 game. Dallas probably needs their bye week right now for several reasons. So that is it for week 9 on the Terranadome, folks. And we're not quite done yet because we've got a 6-pack of pick'em pepper pickled pig's feet. I don't know. Josh, you ready for 6 games? I got them all hand-picked for you. All you got to do is make picks. You ready?
All right.
So week 10. We are going to week 10. Josh, can you believe that we are going to now officially be past the halfway point of the NFL regular season?
That's crazy.
It really is. Week 10 out of 18, folks. And it is tonight. We always do the Thursday night game, even if we don't want to. We got to do the Thursday night game. And that game is the Raiders, 9-point dogs, traveling to Denver to take on the 7-2 Broncos. I will start with you. What do you think?
9 points seems like a lot.
Sure does.
But playing in Mile High is tough for a lot of people. The Raiders don't have anyone besides Brock Bowers, and I really think that defense on the other side is pretty good. I think they'll do a good job of blanketing him and making Geno Smith throw to anyone else. I think I'm taking Denver.
Denver with the points, he says. Denver -9. Denver to cover 9 points. Everything that Josh just told you is true. It makes complete logical sense.
So I'm going with the opposite.
This is the NFL, which is one step short of professional wrestling. Give me the Raiders +9. It makes no sense. I'll take the Raiders +9. Period. Now, for other stuff that may or may not make sense, we are a New England-based show here on the Terranadome. So, of course, the next game is going to be what should be one of the best games of the week next week. If not the best. I mean, on paper it should be, but, we'll never know. There are other couple of contenders, and then we'll get to those too. The New England Patriots are 2.5-point underdogs at Tampa Bay coming off their bye week. Patriots 7-2, Bucks 6-2. I think the line makes sense. I will say that much. I think the line makes sense. I want to see what you have to say first, once again.
They're in Tampa?
In Tampa. 1 o'clock game.
So it's a pick'em. Tampa Bay coming off a bye. I think that's advantageous for them. I really do. I think that if they were both coming off a game, I think I might lean towards the Patriots just because of how well they've been playing. But Baker's been playing really well. They got a bye. Hopefully they got some guys healthy, especially on the defensive side. So taking that into account, I would probably say I'm taking the Buccaneers with the points.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, everything you said makes sense this time. Oh, it did make sense last time too. I think the Pats are starting to get a little beat up. The timing of this level of opponent is not a good time.
No.
Yeah, I'd probably take the Bucks by at least a field goal myself. I think it might be a little bit more than that. This seems like a spot. Listen, the Patriots are already well ahead of expectations this season. This has a Washington vibe to it from last year. So
Mm.
look out for next year. This does feel like a team that's going to get to 12 wins. This feels like a loss to me. It just does. If they win this game, then the entire league is on notice, as far as I'm concerned. So we both
Yeah, I
like
mean, 'cause
Tampa.
the rest of your schedule is tough.
Real easy, except for Buffalo in Week 15, and that's
Other
Baltimore,
than that, I don't think I could
Baltimore and
wipe you
Buffalo,
clean.
Baltimore
Yeah,
and Buffalo, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. We still have to play the Jets twice. So
yeah.
yeah, Miami
And
once
one
and the
more
Jets
against
twice,
Miami. And one more against Miami.
and it's in Gillette, and it's in the winter. So I mean, yeah, we're already 7-2. It's been a good ride so far. I think this is a spot the Pats lose, but we'll see. We move on to Baltimore. I just mentioned Baltimore is going to be one of their tough remaining opponents of like 2 or 3, if you count Tampa. Baltimore is 4-point favorites at Minnesota. Minnesota coming off a really big win, and Baltimore's 3-5, but they are 4-point favorites at Minnesota. That's a line that's a little curious to me. Floor is yours once again.
Brian Flores is so dang good.
Yep.
Like, what does he do to contain Lamar Jackson? I don't know. I think I like the -4 though. I think Baltimore. I think their defense has gotten better over the last couple weeks. Even without Lamar against the Bears, they did well. They did well, obviously, against Miami. But I think with JJ McCarthy, I don't know if they put up enough points to keep up with Lamar. So I would say -4. I'm going with Baltimore.
Baltimore -4 is the right play here. It really is. Defense is getting healthy. Lamar Jackson in the regular season, there's almost nobody better.
The truth.
Yeah, and Minnesota's defense should be a good test. And it's hard to get a pass rush against a guy like that. That takes away a big element of your game. Obviously,
Mm.
Derrick Henry is a 3-down back, is obviously very good in pass protection. Baltimore presents a lot of problems at this point. They are a team that nobody should sleep on, even at 3-5. Should be 4-5 after this week. Baltimore 4 points makes sense. Here's a line I don't think makes sense. Your San Francisco 49ers are 4.5-point dogs at home to the Los Angeles Rams. Starting with you.
I think the line is because I don't think there's any faith in our defense whatsoever. I don't have faith in our defense. I think Stafford might throw for 350 yards this week. Um, if you can't get to the quarterback, it's really tough to do anything in this league. Um, you just lost Michael Williams for the year, and who do you replace him with? Keon White. I just don't think that.
Oh,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no,
that's
no, 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 no. You were very high on the Keon White trade.
I thought they were going to use him as a defensive tackle,
Oh, they
not as a
didn't.
defensive end. Um, I actually like the Rams at 4.5. I would take the Rams here. The Niners are injury plagued, one of the most injury plagued teams in the NFL. It eventually catches up to you. And I think this is one of those weeks where it does. They almost they beat them in LA, and they were in control of that game for most of the game, and they still almost lost that game. So I think LA comes back, and I think they spank them. I think they win by 7 or 14 points.
Nope. Nope. Disagree. Don't think so.
Oh.
For whatever reason, just seems like Kyle Shanahan's got Sean McVay's number for some reason. I don't know why. Doesn't really
He
make
does in
sense.
the regular season. I absolutely agree with you, but I just don't know if our defense will hold up.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think they find a way to win the game. I don't know why. Gut feeling.
I like it. I love it. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Oh yeah, but
I'm
I can
if I had to put money on it. If there was money involved, I'm not going with the Niners.
I can still take the Niners at +4.5, even though I think they'll win the game. I can still take them at +4.5, which is what I'll do. But I for whatever reason, everything you just said is right. You lost that kid. Bosa's gone. Fred Warner's gone. Your offense is is Christian McCaffrey and a bunch of injured guys. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'll take the 49ers +4.5. 2 to go. 2 to go. And your other favorite team I wanted to get in here too is the LA Chargers, the San Diego Superchargers,
Against the Steelers.
against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers come into that game on the road at 3. They're 3-point underdogs. I actually think the line makes sense. What do you think of the game? Because the Chargers feel like one of those teams we don't really know quite what they are. The Steelers feel like one of those teams we don't really know quite what they are. So
Yeah.
6-3 versus 5-3.
I think it's going to come down to if LA can run the ball, which I think they might be able to do against the Steelers defense. I think they overplayed last week. I think they outperformed what they would normally be doing. They let up a bunch of yards to Chase Brown. So I think they were obviously a little more honed in on Jonathan Taylor, obviously because of how good Jonathan Taylor is. I don't think they're going to have the same amount of respect for Kimani Vidal. Like, I don't think they're going to look at him and game plan for him like they might have Jonathan Taylor. Like, I'm sure they said, hey, if we take away Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones has to beat us. Well, I think they're not looking at it the same way this week because they have Justin Herbert. So I like LA to run the ball a lot in this game and win. So I'm going to take them with you said -3?
Plus,
Yeah,
yeah, -3. Yeah,
I'm going to take the -3.
I don't like this one. I don't like
No,
this
this
one.
is a tough game. Both teams are, like you said, kind of enigmatic where you don't really know what you're going to get. Like, I watched the Steelers lose to the Bengals a couple weeks ago and then beat Indianapolis.
Chargers are having a weird year. I'm going to take the Steelers here. I don't like the Steelers. That's a fact. That's not hard to figure out here. But +3, I could see them winning the game. You can obviously easily see them winning this game. They really didn't have to do anything to beat the Colts. The Colts just kept handing the ball back to them. So it's like, yeah, what do you make of that? I'm going to talk myself out of it. Chargers -3. Chargers -3 because the Steelers defense isn't that good. It's just not that good. I mean, again, sure they beat the Colts, but the Colts turned it over 6 times, and you only beat them by 7.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Chargers are at home. The Chargers should win that game. I'm with you. I agree. -3 Chargers. I just talked myself out of it. Finally, we have this line doesn't make sense to me. Philadelphia goes to Green Bay as 2.5-point underdogs to a Packers team that it doesn't feel too good to me right now with the Packers. And the Eagles have been playing a lot better. So,
And the Eagles just made a bunch of moves.
That too. Yeah, that too. Yep.
They got a cornerback, right?
Phil-
I can't remember the kid's name. The cornerback they just grabbed.
Jalen
Jalen, huh?
Jalen Phillips.
No, they grabbed a corner too.
I don't remember.
It's going to annoy me. But so they grabbed 2 guys on the defensive side of the ball,
Yep.
and they're coming off their bye. The question is, I wonder if that line is indicative because they haven't announced if Saquon's playing yet.
True.
He's still questionable.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also, it's peculiar to me because, so when he first got injured, it was reported that it wasn't a serious groin injury. Number one, is there ever such a thing as not a serious groin injury? If you have an injury in your groin, it's serious. Number two, if it wasn't serious, why is he still questionable a week after your bye?
I don't know. Did he practice today? Like
I haven't like heard anything. Like I haven't gotten anything on my phone like saying that he's not that he didn't practice or limited or whatever it might have been. I did check earlier. It still said he's questionable. So I wonder if that line is indicative of that because if he's playing and he's healthy, coming off a bye with all the additions they just made, I think the line doesn't make any sense. I think they should be favored. Green Bay literally just lost at home to the Carolina Panthers.
He practiced today. So
full practice, full participant.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, then that line doesn't make sense to me.
Nope.
I'd say the Eagles by a touchdown.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Really, nothing else that needs to be said. Something's wrong with the Packers, and they just lost the guy that's been their best pass catcher this year. It's kind of not an opinion. Yeah, folks. that's it. That's the show. I appreciate you coming on again, sir. I tried to streamline it. We did a little more back and forth, which was good. I think the back and forth is better than me bogging down on the details. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. I got to take my show back next week, but we'll see you in week 11 or after week 11. Yeah, after week 11. I'm smart. I can do math. I'm an engineer. And yeah, folks, on that note about what we talked about earlier, tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised. Prayers up for everybody in that situation. And Josh, thank you again, my friend. I'm sure your wife wants you to go to dinner. So, well, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see you next week on the Terranadome. I hope everybody has a good rest of their week. Enjoy week 10 of the NFL season. And yeah, we'll catch you back here soon. Thank you very much, and peace out.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry.